On the Line 2021. The film opens in Korea on a construction site where a young man named Seo-joon, who is a chief foreman, is seen working. He is an honest man and performs all his duties exceptionally well. That's why his boss has decided to give him a bonus and gave him an increment of 20% in his salary, and he is about to be transferred. Due to this, Seo-joon is very happy as he and his wife Ma-yeon, who owns a small cafe, were planning to buy a new home. So he immediately calls her wife to inform her about his promotion, but she cuts the call soon, saying that she is busy. At that moment, Seo-joon notices a strange man with a tattoo on his neck crossing him. Seo-joon instructs him to wear a helmet as it was a construction site, so he wanted everyone to be safe. However, the man wears the helmet and walks away. He gets on a side and pulls out a phone signal jammer from his bag and then secretly places it there. Suddenly, a worker working on the top of the building accidentally fell due to some malfunction of the bolts, but fortunately, he had tied himself with a belt, so he doesn't fall and gets hanged in the air. Seo-joon, being a chief workman, attempts to rescue the worker and tries his best to save him. Meanwhile, the other workers immediately called the emergency, but the signals were blacked out by the jammer. Here the situation gets critical as the bolts start getting close. Then the scene shifts to Ma-yeon, who is shown in her cafe. She receives an unknown call and the person on the call tells her that he is a lawyer and Seo-joon's friend. He informs her that an accident due to Seo-joon's negligence has occurred on the construction site. As a result, a worker has died, so the police arrested Seo-joon. She decides to call Seo-joon and confirm, but the call does not connect due to the signal jammer. Then she receives another call and the person claims that he is a police inspector from the police station. He informs her that the police have arrested Seo-joon and that if she wants to meet him, she can come to the police station. Therefore, she quickly gets ready to leave for the police station, but before she can leave, she receives another call from the first person. He warns her that Seo-joon may get severe punishment due to the worker's death, but there is a way to escape from the punishment, and that is compensation. So if she wants him to be free, she has to pay immediately. Therefore, she follows the instruction and transfers $60,000 to that person's account. Then the scene shifts to the construction site and we see that Seo-joon has saved the worker's life and everyone is happy, and we come to know that Ma-yeon has gone through a huge fraud. Then we see that scammer who withdraws the whole amount from the bank. On the other hand, the tattooed man takes the jammer from the site and flees. When Seo-joon checks his phone, he sees that he has missed a lot of calls from his wife. Therefore, he calls her and she learns that everything is fine and she has gone through a great fraud. In great stress, she rushes towards the bank to stop the transaction, but it is too late, as the scammer has already withdrawn all the money and the bank is helpless in this case. Hearing all this, Ma-yeon gets a huge shock and collapses. Afterward, she again receives a call from the scammer while crossing the road. She begs to return her money, but he thanks her and cuts the call. At that moment, she is hit by a fast-moving car and gets badly injured. Then she is taken to the hospital in a serious condition. Here, Seo-joon receives a call from his boss who tells him that he has become a victim of call fraud too. Moreover, he lost $3 million in that case. After cutting the call, he reaches the construction site only to find that his boss has committed suicide, and all the employees, while crying, are furious at him that he has lost their whole life savings. Afterward, we learn that Seo-joon was a detective before the foreman, and now he has to become a detective again. Then he is informed by the secretary that someone has tricked their boss and lured him with huge profits. It makes him remember the tattoo man. Consequently, he starts investigating all the tattoo saloons in the city. He is told by one of them that the tattooed man works in a touring company, so he started observing the company office. In this way, he learns that the company is sending a batch of employees outside the country. When the bus gets off to the airport, Seo-joon on the way hits the tattooed man's car, and after getting in the car, he beats him up and asks about the scammer. Therefore, he tells her name is Park. After that, Seo-joon hands him over to the police and discusses the matter with the head of the cybercrime department, Lee. In this way, they come to know that behind this is a call center located in China, and a lot of people are the victims of phishing. He believes that the police alone cannot sort the matter out. So he visits a hacker girl named Sheil and asks for help in exchange for money. So she agrees. Then he gives her his wife's phone in which the scammer's recordings are kept. Then Sheil investigates the phone call and tells Seo-joon that the phone call has come from northeast China, being diverted from Cambodia and Thailand. That's why she is unable to find the exact location. Moreover, she tells him that people are scammed through a link. Meanwhile, he comes to know that police are about to raid a place owned by Park. Therefore, he takes Sheil to the site and watches out because he never wanted Park to be arrested by the police. If it happens, he will not be able to reach the scammer. Then he gets into his office and asks the receptionist to meet Park, but she refuses. Then he tells her about the accident of that tattooed man, so he is taken to Park. Park was dealing to buy public data from a person and planning to loot them. When Seo-joon meets Park, he tells him about the police spy in his office, so he immediately captures him. And Lee outside comes to know that their plan has failed, and he orders a raid on his office. Inside the office, all the staff runs in a hurry while Seo-joon carries the pen drives carrying public data and tries to escape along with Park. He saves Park from the police and shows up to Lee, but they become successful to escape, and Park takes him away in his car. On the way, Park asks Seo-joon what he wants. He tells him that he wants to work in a China call center, so he gives him his business card and informs him to meet a man named Chin in the China call center. After that, he drops Seo-joon on the road. After getting out, Seo-joon calls the police and tells them about Park's location. As his target is the call center, so with the assistance of Sheel, he makes an artificial passport and a fake identity paper in which his name is Kang. Seo-joon is determined to take revenge against the scammer who has ditched his wife. Later, Seo-joon gets on the plane towards China. Meanwhile, the police investigate him and learn that Seo-joon was a good detective, but he lost his job getting involved in a drug conspiracy. However, he reaches China and visits the targeted location where he is instructed to wait for Chin. After a while, Chin with his fellows arrives to meet him and beats him up only to make sure that he is not a spy. After that, his face is covered with sag and taken to the call center, which makes him join the work and give the number 71 on his shirt. And we came to know that the call center was used to scam Korean people. Afterward, Seo-joon is handed over to a team so that he could learn to call. In this way, he learns how they ditch the people when a caller calls a random person and tells him that his bank account has been used for the wrong purpose. Then another caller calls the same person and pretends to be a criminal investigation officer and warns him that his account is being used for money laundering, so he must call the information security system. Then the person calls them, but due to the hacked phone, the call is received by the third caller, who acts as a bank officer and tells him that his account will soon be freezed, so he gets tense. Then he is informed to call financial security, but they do have not the fourth caller. Therefore, Seo-joon is ordered to ditch the person, but the call disconnects and the colleagues get furious on Seo-joon as the prey was closed by his mistake. However, he is warned not to commit such a mistake next time, otherwise he will be killed. After all, he has learned how a team threatens the people and looted them, and also learns about the owner of the call center, who is Commander Hong. On the other hand, in Korea, police arrested Park and find many phones in his car. Here, Seo-joon comes to know that the charged Kwak Pro is the actual scammer. However, he is told that Kwak is a very strict person and he is the master of this business. In Korea, police learned about this call center in China, and Chin learns that his Korean collection office is captured by the police. Afterward, we see Kwak with his team making plans for looting people while Seo-joon observes them standing outside the cabin. All of a sudden, he sees a member stealing some money. He immediately attacks him and tells Kwak that he was stealing money. As a result, his honesty is proved to Kwak, and he asks Kwak if he wants to work in the planning department, but he replies that you have to work as a sweeper first. However, he works there and meets Shin, who tells him that all the money is handled on the third floor. One day, Seo-joon secretly hears Chin talking to Commander Hong. As a result, he learns that the commander has no belief in Kwak. Later one day, Seo-joon steals Kwak's golf ball while he is talking to Hong, and Hong gets angry with him. Meanwhile, Seo-joon places the ball on the lift's door only to spy in the office. At night, he sees Kwak talking to someone and learns that Kwak with a director is planning to ditch Commander Hong. After that, he hides his secret phone. Therefore, Seo-joon decides to attack him, and through the lift, he gets into Chin's office, but unfortunately, Chin arrives there and Seo-joon hides. At that moment, Chin receives a call from Hong. Meanwhile, Seo-joon messages Sheel and tells her about the 1 million that is about to be transferred. Sheel was caught by the dead owner, so she lures him with money and takes him to China. On the other hand, security observes that Seo-joon is missing from the floor, therefore all of them start searching for him. Seo-joon, using the AC duct, gets in the washroom. After that, he is caught in the washroom and locked in the room. Later, Sheel with the man reaches China while Korean police follow them. The following day, Kwak showcases his dream plan of looting a huge amount of money, so everyone starts working according to the plan. The next morning, they received $1 million, and Kwak's next goal is to steal $15 million. However, all the callers are given bonus money for their success. On the other hand, Seo-joon is seen in the room and Shin helps him to escape from the room. Here, Sheel, with the dead owner, reaches the currency exchange office and uses the message from Chin's laptop sent by Seo-joon to enter the office. But before they could take all the money, the actual owners arrive and capture both of them. When they are beaten up by the bastards, Lee with his force raids there and rescues them, and asks them about the call center. Chin comes to know that the police have captured the currency exchange office. On the other hand, Seo-joon damages the main electric supply. As a result, all the electricity in the office goes off. Kwak gets too furious due to the disturbance, as it was the day to steal 15 million and he had planned to flee with all the money. After that, Seo-joon visits Kwak's cabin and sees his secret phone while he is attacked by Kwak. Here, Chin orders to pack up the office and all the employees carry as much money as possible with them. Kwak and Seo-joon have a great fight. Meanwhile, Chin shoots them and Kwak kills Chin. Seo-joon takes Kwak's phone and attempts to escape, but Shin betrays him and tries to capture him. However, he manages to get to the top of the building and shares his location with a shell, which is seen by Lee. But Kwak and his fellows arrive there and beat him up, and he learns about Seo-joon that he was a spy. So he calls her mother-in-law and blackmails her. As a result, he makes him apologize to Hong that he is responsible for the destruction of the call center while the police raid there and capture everyone. Kwak attempts to escape, but Seo-joon catches him, and when he is about to kill him, Lee arrives and arrests Kwak. Afterward, Lee and Seo-joon blackmail Commander Hong, and then it is announced that all the looted money will be returned to the people, and Seo-joon is appointed as the senior detective, and his wife is happy about his achievement. On the other hand, Shin reaches the Philippines and meets Hong's partner and deals to make fraud with people again, and the movie ends here.